He didn't lose feelings. He lost the need to try, and you know it. You felt the shift, the energy changed, the attention dropped, the effort faded. Not slowly, strategically. Because the moment he believed you weren't going anywhere, he stopped earning you. When he wanted you, he showed up. When he feared losing you, he tried. When he wasn't sure he had you, he invested. Now he's busy. Now he's tired. Now you're too much. Funny how that works. You didn't become too much. You just stopped being a challenge. Let's be honest. Men respect what they risk losing, and they relax around what feels guaranteed. The problem? You became guaranteed. Not because you're weak, because you're loyal. And loyalty without boundaries turns into permission. Permission for less effort, less presence, less emotional responsibility. You keep asking, did he change? No, he revealed his baseline. The version of him that exists when there is no pressure to impress you. That's the real him. Not the early intensity, not the late night vulnerability, not the consistent check-ins. That was performance under pursuit. And here's the part that will hurt. He didn't downgrade you. He downgraded the effort because you stayed anyway. Read that again. Effort decreases when departure feels impossible. If he knew you were walking the moment consistency dropped, do you really think this would look the same? You call it emotional neglect. He calls it comfort. You call it distance. He calls it stability. You call it something feels off. He calls it you're overthinking. And slowly, you start doubting your own perception. That's how standards collapse, not through fights, through gradual normalization of less. Here's the real test. Stop initiating. Stop over-explaining. Stop compensating for his silence. Stop being the emotional engine. And watch. Not his words, his actions. If nothing moves, you were in a partnership. You were in maintenance mode, maintaining him, maintaining connection, maintaining effort that was never mutual. And when he suddenly panics because he feels you pulling away, that's not romance. That's access anxiety. Men don't panic when they lose feelings. They panic when they lose access. Access to comfort, access to attention, access to emotional labor. That reaction isn't depth, it's dependency. You are not crazy. You are responding to imbalance. And imbalance doesn't fix itself. It exposes itself. The question isn't, does he still love me? The question is, why are you staying loyal to someone who stopped being intentional? If effort only returns when you threaten to leave, you were never chosen daily. You were managed. And there's a difference. He doesn't come back because he loves you. He comes back because he feels you leaving. And that's not the same thing. You didn't wake him up. Your detachment did. The moment you stopped overfunctioning, stopped explaining, stopped compensating for his silence, stopped being the emotional engine, he felt it. Not emotionally, structurally. The dynamic shifted, and suddenly the effort returned. Texts got longer, tone got softer, plans reappeared, attention sharpened. Not because he transformed, because access felt unstable. You think, maybe he realized what he had. No, he realized he might lose it. Love-based realization is steady. Fear-based realization is reactive, and reactive effort never lasts. Watch the pattern. When you overgave, he relaxed. When you reassured, he withdrew. When you pulled back, he stepped up. But the moment you soften again, the effort fades. Not maliciously, predictably, because his effort calibrates to risk. High risk, high effort. Low risk, low effort. And loyalty without boundaries lowers the risk. You call it chemistry. It's imbalance regulation. When he re-engages, you feel chosen again, relieved again, validated again, hopeful again. But you were never chosen daily. You were chosen conditionally, on demand, when tension rises, when silence stretches, when departure feels possible. Here's the real test. When he comes back, does he change long term, or does he increase effort until tension drops? Because panic-driven effort always has an expiration date, and you feel that slow decline. The delayed replies, the shorter calls, the familiar excuses, the quiet return to baseline. That's the real him, not the panic version. You don't want to disappear to be appreciated. You want consistency without threat. You don't want intensity during crisis. You want intention during calm. If he only activates when you deactivate, he's not leading, he's reacting. And relationships built on reaction require constant imbalance to survive. You pulling away, him stepping up. You relaxing, him stepping down. Over and over, until you're exhausted from regulating someone else's motivation. You are not crazy for seeing the pattern. You are not dramatic for feeling the shift. You are responding to inconsistency. The question isn't, will he come back? He probably will. The question is, will he stay consistent when there's no fear of losing you? Because love that only intensifies under threat was never stable. It was conditional. And you deserve someone who doesn't wake up only when you start walking away.